What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Say What? Barstool Parlay. As always, I'm your host, Austin Froberg. And our motto on the channel here, raw takes, no apologies. And if you guys haven't clicked that subscribe button, make sure you guys are liking the video, subscribing, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, hit that button. Help us build the channel. Also, guys, share content. Let other people see the viewpoint. Let other people get their opinions out there. And once again, help us grow the channel. So click like, subscribe, share. Thank you guys for tuning in again, and welcome back. So, what are we talking about today? Well, what we're going to get into today is the very interesting topic of what's going on with Deshaun Watson, the whole Deshaun Watson scenario in Houston. It's a very intriguing story. It's going to be the biggest story of the offseason based on what happens or doesn't happen. We're going to break it down from multiple angles, what I think about what Deshaun's doing, trying to leave, the best places for him to go, and this new thing that popped up today or yesterday, which was Brett Favre's comments about what he thought about Deshaun Watson and how he was approaching the situation. So we're going to break this down from every angle, guys, and really dive into it here and get a full picture view, or at least you guys can get my viewpoint on what's going on with Deshaun in this whole situation, because it's turned into a mess real quick. So let's get into this, guys. First off, let's talk about the Deshaun situation in general. What I think about the Deshaun Watson situation. Let me preface what I'm about to say by starting with this, okay? I think that Deshaun Watson should absolutely want to trade. If I was Deshaun Watson, no way in hell I want to be a Houston Texan. Houston is a disaster. I would want out. 100% want out, okay? Now, with that being said, I don't like the idea that Deshaun Watson is demanding a trade this year, okay? I don't like that situation, and here's why. It has nothing to do with whether, the Texans are a good team or, any of that. It really doesn't, okay? But it has to do with the fact of you're telling me that Deshaun Watson has been a Houston Texan for multiple years, like 4 years. He's played his entire rookie contract there, okay? So Deshaun Watson's played out almost his entire rookie contract as a Texan, and what? He couldn't figure out the organization was dysfunctional. He couldn't figure out they weren't going anywhere. You're telling me Deshaun Watson was extremely happy this entire time? No. So my thing is, if Deshaun Watson wanted out, he should have demanded a trade last year. He should have demanded a trade last offseason, okay? He should have demanded a trade immediately after they traded Hopkins, okay? You trade DeAndre Hopkins immediately. If I'm the quarterback, especially looking at that receiving core in Houston, you trade Hopkins, I'm out. I'm done. I'm gone. I'm out, all right? Now, the reason that him asking for a trade this offseason is a problem for me is because Deshaun Watson just signed a long-term extension. He signed a long-term extension. You know what the signing bonus was on that extension? $80 million guaranteed cash at time of signing. So a lot of teams, what they do and how they structure contracts is to make a deal a team-friendly deal where it's not going to hit the cap so they can continue to put players on the roster and build something around you. They will take the money that they would pay you yearly and they'll put it onto a signing bonus. That way they can pay you with that bonus included the total amount you want over the life of the contract without having to put it in the yearly. That drives up the cap and makes the contract a bigger hit to the cap space. Well, here's the problem. Deshaun Watson accepted $80 million. He signed his contract and got a check for $80 million. That check is a check of, yes, money that he wanted in the contract, but it's also a check of good faith. It's a check for services rendered. Here's $80 million as a upfront signing bonus because you've accepted the job of being the Texans quarterback for the next 4 to 5 years. There's something that we used to have in life called morals. There's something we used to have in life called character. There's something in life we used to have called following through with your commitments. If Deshaun Watson made a bad decision to sign an extension with the Houston Texans, that's not my problem. It's not the Texans' problem. It's his problem. It's a bad decision. You can't expect me, the Texans, or anybody else to be okay with the fact that they gave you $80 million guaranteed, no injury, no nothing, cut you a check, you took it to the bank, same day, cashed it for $80 million because they're under the assumption you're going to play football in Houston. And then you say, yeah, thanks for the 80 mil, psych, peace out. And you steal. Like that's what's happening. You're stealing $80 million. If I went to the mechanic and paid him $8,000 to work on my car, and then all of a sudden he goes, yeah, man, thanks for the $8,000. Your keys are outside. I'm not working on your car. Well, what do you mean you're not working on my car? I just paid you $8,000 to work on my car. Yeah, I'm not working on it, bro. And by the way, this $8,000 not refundable. So, what do you mean? I'm just giving you a free $8,000? Yeah. There's the door, bro. Hit the bricks. See ya. What? That's essentially what's happening with Deshaun Watson. Is the Houston Texans are sitting there going, what do you mean you're demanding a trade? We just paid you $80 million. Sorry, man. I ain't playing for you. Well, we paid you $80 million to do a job, which was be our quarterback. We guaranteed you, we gave you $80 million up front to be our quarterback. Yeah, about that. Not interested, not going to do it. So you're just going to keep $80 million for a job you're not going to do? Yeah. Trade me. I don't like that. I don't like that. And that's what I don't like about this deal. And that's the biggest thing that I don't like about this whole situation, okay? Is I don't have a problem, like I said, with Deshaun Watson wanting out. I would want out too. I have a problem with the timing. Just like Andrew Luck. I don't have a problem with Andrew Luck retiring. I have a problem with Andrew Luck retiring 2 weeks before the season with like no heads up. Like, timing is everything in life. Timing is one of the most important things you will ever develop, learn, understand, know in life. The timing of this is terrible. The Texans, they don't have a draft pick for a quarterback. They don't have any assets. The front office is a disaster, and I get it. He wants out because it's a disaster in Houston. But Deshaun, you made the bad decision to sign an extension and stay there. You have to at least play a season in Houston and do something for the $80 million they just gave you. You can't just cop $80 million and walk out and say, yeah, thanks for the free money. They didn't give you $83 million. That's not what this is. Now, granted, you could make an argument that with the lies and other things that have gone on in the Houston organization, that maybe they have a right, or maybe Deshaun has a right to say, hey, I'm taking that $80 million from you. That's karma for what you did lying to me to get me to sign the extension in the first place. That would be a fair point, and I get it. But it's the old timeless wonder, guys. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Just because they made bad personnel decisions, just because they made bad decisions, doesn't mean you doing something just as equally bad is now okay. That's not how that works. So no, I'm not okay with Deshaun Watson trying to peace out and take a free $80 million from the Texans. No, I'm not cool with that. I'm not okay with that. But with that being said, let's get into some of the logistics of what could happen with this, because in all reality, Deshaun Watson is not going to be a Houston Texan. The Texans are going to make it extremely difficult, supposedly, for him to get out. They're saying they have no interest in trading him. They will not trade him. And Deshaun's saying he's got their $80 million. He's literally going to use their $80 million. Instead of using it for what they paid him to do, which was play football, he's going to use their $80 million to hold them hostage, where now he has $80 million to sit back and be like, yo, man, I'll put this shit on ice. Like, I'm cool. I'm putting this on ice for a year. I'm going to sit out. I'm not going to play for you, so I'm just going to sit out till you trade me. And he's now got the financial means to do that. So that's kind of where we're at with this whole situation, all right? Now, like I said, I don't like this whole scenario just based on the timing, but let's get into this. What could happen with Watson? What makes sense? What should they do? Well, from a team perspective, if I'm the Texans, the Jets make sense. They have a lot of draft picks. I have a few players. I can get Sam Darnold. I can get things in return for Deshaun Watson. I can move up in the draft. I can get the number 2 pick. I can get Sam Darnold. I can get multiple number 1 picks, maybe some number 2s. I can get a lot of capital if I'm the Texans from the Jets. Now, there's one reason. He will not be a Jet. He will not be a Jet. And if he is ending up being a Jet, this just shows that Deshaun Watson is an absolute idiot. Why the hell would you want to go to the Jets, which has nothing to do with their new coach? He's unproven. Nobody knows what this guy can do, what he can't do. Maybe he's great, maybe he's not. But the point is, the Jets, even if he's a good coach, their team sucks. They've always sucked. They're dysfunctional. Nobody should ever want to go to the Jets. Hence, Deshaun, if you're thinking about it, make a call to Le'Veon Bell. He'll tell you how that shit works out, okay? So, from a team standpoint, that makes sense to me. If I'm Houston, I can get a lot from the Jets. The reason I don't think that trade is going to go through, because Deshaun Watson also has a player option no trade in his contract. So Deshaun Watson can say, you can't trade me there, and they can't. So I think Deshaun Watson will turn down a trade to the Jets, which would block that from happening. So that's why I don't think the Jets make sense in this picture unless Deshaun Watson's crazy, which I don't think he is. So that's why the Jets are out of this picture. Now, the only other 2 teams that make sense because they have the assets and the capital to make the deal make sense. Obviously, there's teams that need a quarterback, that obviously any team that needs a quarterback, Deshaun Watson makes sense. The Patriots make sense. The Bears make sense. The Lions make sense. Indianapolis makes sense. Okay, we get that. But these are the 2 teams that I believe have the biggest amount to offer Houston, that are also teams that Deshaun Watson would be interested in going to, so he would not activate his no trade clause. He would be okay going there, all right? These are the 2 teams, okay? And like I said, I think these are the teams that are going to give, obviously, Deshaun the best chance to win, while having the most in return for the Texans, all right? First, the San Francisco 49ers. Houston gets Jimmy Garoppolo. Obviously, not a fair deal there. Garoppolo's here. Deshaun Watson's way up here. All right, they're not even close. But they do get a starting level NFL quarterback in return. And San Francisco also has a lot of draft capital, a lot of cap space. They're willing to absorb Watson's contract. They get Garoppolo. They get some cap space, maybe a couple players. Makes sense. It's feasible. San Francisco could make it make sense. And obviously, Houston can sit there and say it makes sense for us. Now, the biggest, and I think the best, and I know what you guys are going to say in the comments, all right? You always go back to the Cowboys. Yes, I'm going back to the Cowboys. Yes, I'm saying the Cowboys, okay? The Cowboys are the best trade partner for the Houston Texans. And obviously the Cowboys have a talented roster. He's still in Texas, not a big move, etc. And obviously being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys is like the glamour position in sports. I don't think Watson would have a problem going there, especially with those weapons they have in Dallas on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, I'm going back to the Cowboys, guys. And before you guys just say, well, it's just because you like the Cowboys and you want Deshaun Watson. No, that's not it, all right? Hear me out. What team can offer Houston a better caliber quarterback in the trade than Dak Prescott? Who can trade a quarterback that's as good a value as Dak Prescott? Prescott is an above-average starting quarterback. He's a solid above-average quarterback, and he's a great quarterback. He's not going to be your long-term Super Bowl guy. That's why me and a lot of other Cowboys fans, we're not sold, because we have a roster that's ready and built to win right now. Dak Prescott is not the guy to carry this roster to a championship right now. But is he somebody who can just play above average and win you games, and at least during this rebuild in Houston, make you relevant? Yeah, sure. Now, the other reason that I'm saying this is because I understand the logistics of the NFL. I also understand the fact that I don't like Dak Prescott. I don't think he's this fantastic quarterback. But a lot of the NFL guys do. I don't know why, other than his intangibles. He is a fantastic leader. He is the undisputed leader of that football team, okay? But other than that, I have no idea why these guys think Dak Prescott's this phenomenal quarterback. But they do. So knowing what his value is in the circle and realm of NFL people, he's a high-value quarterback. Now, this works both ways. Even if you like Dak Prescott, it works both ways. Why? Because both these quarterbacks in Texas have fractured relationships with their organization. Deshaun wants out. Dak wants to be in Dallas, but him and Jerry's relationship is, according to reports from Mike Fisher in Texas and Dallas and Ian Rappaport and a lot of other people, their relationship is fractured beyond repair, and Jerry hates his agent, Steve France. He will not deal with his agent. So Dak wants to be a Cowboy, but the relationship's pretty much over. He grew up a Cowboys fan, and he likes the idea of being a Dallas Cowboy. You know, it's his childhood dream. But he understands that him and Jerry's relationship is over. Jerry's relationship with his agent is over, which really makes the whole situation over, okay? Now, even if you like Dak and you think he's great, good. The proposal still works. Houston gets a great quarterback in Dak Prescott. We get Deshaun Watson, okay? Dak gets his money going to Houston. We absorb Deshaun's money, which the way that Houston and Deshaun dealt this contract and organized it out with years and salary and everything, the way they built this contract is exceptionally team friendly for the amount he's making. The way it hits the cap and the way it balances out is very team friendly. Deshaun Watson would have, I believe if the numbers are correct, he would have like a $4 to $5, maybe $6 million smaller cap hit with the Cowboys. Absorbing his contract would be a smaller cap hit than if they gave Dak Prescott the exact same deal. His deal is so team friendly, even though it's like $45 million, huge numbers, it's so team friendly, it's stupid, okay? So Cowboys would actually free up cap space with Watson versus Dak, which is what the Cowboys need. They need more cap space. They got a lot of problems across both sides of the ball. They need secondary like crazy. Cowboys need players. They need draft picks. They need some free agents. They need the cap space if they're going to be relevant immediately. Deshaun's contract allows them to keep a lot of that cap space free. Meanwhile, it works for Dallas. We get an upgraded quarterback. Deshaun's happy. Dallas fans are happy. Dallas is happy. And you have a young quarterback who's 25 for the next 15 years. All right? On the other side, Houston, you get Dak Prescott. I think a slightly above average NFL quarterback. Some people think he's great. You either get a grade or slight, however you want to grade him, you get a high value quarterback in return. Dallas gives you the number 10 pick. They give you draft picks. And possibly, you throw somebody in there, which I know people say, oh, you can't get away with weapons. The Cowboys are so freaking loaded on offense. They don't need the weapons. You could throw in, I hate to say it, you could throw in Ezekiel Elliott. Texans would probably do it. Dak and Zeke, plus a first-round pick and a second-round pick for Deshaun would make sense. You already have Pollard. There's a lot of good young running backs in this draft. You could get another running back. You sign a free agent. There's a lot of things you could do. I personally wouldn't do that. I would trade Amari Cooper because I don't think Amari Cooper is a number one receiver, and I think he's wildly overrated, and his salary is killing our cap. Trade Amari Cooper and Dak, first-round pick, maybe a second, or just Dak and Cooper straight up for the number 10 pick. Good deal on both sides. We can get, or you keep your 10 pick, give them a second, and maybe you get the Heisman Trophy winner from Alabama, have CeeDee Lamb, Devin Smith, Michael Gallup. I mean, guys, we can fill wide receiver. That's not an issue for us, okay? But the point is, you can make the trade work. Dak for Deshaun, both quarterbacks unhappy, instantly go to new teams, both become happy. Well, maybe not Dak after a year in Houston, but Dak gets his money, he's happy. Deshaun gets to get out, he's happy. And realistically, for Deshaun and for the Texans, it's the best possible fit. Deshaun gets onto a team that's a good quarterback away from being a serious contender. If McCarthy's the right guy, which is still, I'm out on that. But I think Deshaun is good enough. He's like, McCarthy won a Super Bowl with Rodgers. Deshaun's good enough. McCarthy can just go along for the ride, okay, with that talent that they have. But you get a great quarterback in Dallas, makes Dallas relevant and a serious contender right now. Dak gets his money, which is what he wants, goes to Houston, and they're both still young guys. Dak, it's okay with Dak going through a rebuild. He's still a young guy. Houston gets some draft picks, makes some moves. Some of that capital they get from Dallas, who knows? So, but it's also the Texans get the most in return. They get the biggest return on investment in this trade from the Cowboys. Nobody can offer them a quarterback that's the same caliber in return for Deshaun as Dallas. That makes sense for Houston. Nobody can offer that quarterback plus the extra picks and the extra things like Dallas. Dallas gets what they need, a quarterback. Houston gets what they need, which is tremendous value back for Deshaun Watson. Plus, if they like one of these young quarterbacks, they get Dak, they franchise him. They franchise Dak, they draft a young kid, they trade Dak, now they get even more value back. It's just smart for Houston, okay? Now, the other side of this, let's get into the Brett Favre comments. Brett Favre was talking about how basically a lot of what I said, well, not exactly, but some of the same preface, okay? Which was, Deshaun Watson gets paid a lot of money to do a job, and he should just be happy he gets to play football, and he should continue to do his job. Now, I don't agree with that. Personally, I agree with parts of it. Like I said, yes, he got paid. I agree with he got paid a lot of money to do a job, which means he should take ownership of his decisions and take responsibility for the consequences that ensue. You decided to take money from Houston. That's your fault. You took money from Houston. That's your fault. The consequence for that is you're on a bad football team. You made a bad football decision. Now you're stuck on a bad football team that's nobody's problem or fault but your own. So the fact that he got paid to do a job, he should just do the job. And if they don't put any pieces around you in a year or two, get out. You're only like 24, 25. You'll be fine. Just get out. But you at least have to attempt to do the job. If you've already been paid, you have to at least attempt to do the job. Otherwise, you literally just stole $80 million, like we said earlier. That's not okay. What I don't agree with is he should just go along and play with whatever Houston wants to do. Just be happy he has a job. No. Yeah, if it's a bad decision, yeah, I'm going to want out. Now, granted, I'm going to take responsibility for my actions and deal with the consequences, deal with everything that comes along with the decisions that I make. As Deshaun Watson, you made the decision. You were greedy. You said, I want my money. So you took the $80 million, you signed the contract with Houston. Well, that was a bad decision. You should have held out to free agency and tried to get out and tried to make more money and do what you could have done, or demanded a trade last year. You got greedy. You want to get your money. Like, dude, everybody would have paid you. Come on. You just got greedy. You couldn't wait a couple extra weeks for the check, so you took it. Well, that's a bad decision. There's consequences to that. The consequence is you need to stay there and play off some of that $80 million that you just took from them. But overall, yeah, after this year, Deshaun wants to demand a trade. You guys still didn't do nothing to draft. You still didn't give me no help. Like, guys, listen, I tried. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm out. I'm done. Even one season, I'd be like, okay, you know what? He's trying. He wants out. He's done. It's probably better for both parties. Just let him go. But I don't agree with that with Favre, where he's, this is he should just sit there and play and not worry about it. No, he should absolutely want out of Houston. Anybody in Houston should want out of Houston. But with that being said, what I don't like is now this has become twisted. And this is the side of this that I don't like with the Favre comments. This is where I'm going to defend Favre. This has now become twisted into a race comment. A former white quarterback said a black quarterback should just basically and they said remnants of the Ann Coulter comments of the shut up and dribble. They're just telling the black quarterback to shut your mouth and play, boy. That's not what Favre said. That's not the context of his comments. What he said was, and the context of his comments were, he got paid to do a job. He should probably do the job he got paid to do and just be happy he's in the NFL. Like I said, I don't agree with that necessarily, but overall, Favre is an old school player. That's what all the old school players believe. You play for one team, unless that team trades you, you're thankful for the team for drafting you, taking a shot on you, paying you. You play for them. They have your loyalty, and you just play out your career, or you get out before you sign a contract and steal their money. But they're now trying to turn this into a race argument where, Brett Favre's a racist and blah, 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 and all his racist comments, and he's a big racist. What about his comments had anything to do with race? What about his comments had to do with race? Zero. This is not a race issue. This is not a race topic, okay? It has nothing to do with this, all right? Absolutely nothing. And the fact that people want to try to twist that into a race conversation is the problem with our country. That a Hall of Famer, by the way, a Hall of Fame former white quarterback can't give his own opinion when asked a question. They asked him, what do you think about the Deshaun Watson situation? He said, well, me personally, I think he should just be thankful that he's got all this money from Houston and go play football. What's wrong with that? And guys, yeah, he's an old school guy. Old school guys, that's how they think. They don't, hey, I don't demand trades, and the players don't dictate where they go and how, like, that's not the culture and the environment and the sports atmosphere he played in and was raised in. Like, what did you think he thought? Like, did you think that Brett Favre was like this huge, like, athletic, like in the realm of athletics, like this huge progressive, like, oh, the players should have all the power and just go anywhere they want and like screw the fans and screw the organizations and steal money from the owners? And like, he didn't, that's not the realm, that's not the era that he played in. Like, what did you think he thought? He played in one place for like 20 years in Green Bay. Like, what did you think he thought? I don't understand where these people are coming from. But it's like, I guess we're in the realm of society now where, yeah, most older quarterbacks or quarterbacks from previous generations, yeah, most of them are white. A large majority, like 97% of starters and Hall of Fame starters are white. I'm sorry, just is what it is. I mean, that's a whole other topic of why there wasn't black quarterbacks and mainly white quarterbacks. That's a whole other topic. But the fact is, that's reality. So now that we're going into the era of the spread and you want your quarterback to be able to move and be mobile, we're getting a lot more black quarterbacks. Like, most of the NFL is black quarterbacks right now, okay? Like, they're mostly black quarterbacks. So I guess now, since most of the league is black, we just can't, like, none of the former Hall of Famers can have any opinion on any quarterback or any situation ever again, because most of the quarterbacks are black. And as white people, we're not allowed to say anything about black people, even if we aren't saying anything about them being black or race or anything else, because if we even conversate with a black person, it's racist, apparently. If we have an opinion on something they're doing, it's racist. If we have an opinion and we conversate with them, it's racist. Like, everything's racist. So we can't talk, like, those former quarterbacks, they can't talk to black people anymore, and they can't have an opinion on football because it's racist. Deshaun's black, Favre's white, so Favre can't have a football opinion about Deshaun Watson. He can't think anything about what's going on with Deshaun Watson in a context of football because he's black, so that's racist. If he doesn't agree with, if he doesn't think Deshaun's a good player, or he thinks maybe he's overrated, well, that's because he's racist. It has nothing to do with what he views him as a football player. No, he's just racist. No, he doesn't like the way he's handling his contract. Oh, well, he's just racist. What is this? We need to stop this crap. It's getting insane. But like I said, guys, that's my view on the contract. I want Deshaun Watson to get out of Houston. I don't like the timing of this. I don't like the fact that he's demanding a trade after he's taking $80 million. I think the Cowboys are the best landing spot. The Niners also make a lot of sense. And Brett Favre's comments make sense, and they're not racist. I don't agree with them. I mean, if a team was putting me through the stuff that Houston put Deshaun through, I would want out too. But it's not a racist comment to just say, hey, they paid you $80 million. Maybe you should just be thankful and go play. I mean, that's not a crazy, wild, abstract thought. So, as always, guys, raw takes, no apologies. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hit that like button, share, subscribe. Check out all our other videos on the channel. Check out our content. Check out the little fun fact checks of the day, or the stupidest thing I've heard today videos. Did you guys see? Check all that stuff out. It's cool stuff, guys. It's good content. Thank you for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time. As always, I'm your host, Austin Froberg. This is Say What? Barstool Parlay. Raw takes, no apologies. Peace out. Deuces, guys.